Hello there. I apologize for that. I was dealing with some civil unrest. Roger, can we try that again? Okay. Here we go. Take two. Sorry about that. Hello there. My name is Combi the Combine Soldier, and I'm here to talk to you about the Roman world. Pompeian amphitheaters. Wondrous and mystical. These grand symbols of Roman progress permeated much of the Latin world. When people say amphitheater, many people think of the Colosseum at Rome. But, in truth, there were many colosseums throughout Rome, as I have said before, and the first one was the quaint little island of Pompeii. While most later amphitheaters were circular in shape, the Pompeian amphitheater was more oval in shape, and it had tiered seats around the circumference of it. The upper class of Roman society would enter the amphitheater through 4 vaulted passageways called the media cavea, and they would be seated closer to the arena itself, while the lower and middle class would enter the arena by a set of stairways located behind the passageways, as seen in this photograph, and they would sit in the upper terraces. There would be many kinds of entertainment in amphitheaters all around the Republic and later Empire, ranging from executions to theatrical performances to gladiatorial combat. Executions were usually even done in theatrical performances and gladiatorial combat. Now, when people say gladiator, most people think of brutish bloodshed and the Russell Crowe movie Gladiator, which leads to them thinking that the Romans were barbarians and pure combat looks something like this.
Die, damn you! Ow! Die! Ow! You're pathetic! Ow!
This, of course, is all false. In Roman society, gladiator combat was the most admired spectacle of all time, literally exploding with connotations of honor and bravery. Prisoners could use the ring as a means for freedom. Good gladiators were celebrities, and like celebrities, gladiators usually endorsed people or goods before a fight, and, like today's sports teams, gave his native land great pride. Events related to war in the ring ranged from one-to-one combat, to naval battles, to hunts, and to reenactments of famous battles in history. These games, as they would like to call them, would be put on by one person, and that one person would usually put them on to gain popularity and further his own political ambitions. People also like to think that death was common, and that there was no mercy shown to gladiators. Well, that is also false. More often than not, if the fights were good, the crowd would spare the loser to fight another day. Death was shown by a thumbs up, and sparing the life of the loser was shown by a thumbs down. There were many types of gladiator, and each was balanced in strength and weaknesses, and the most popular ones were perhaps the Murmillo, the Thrax, the Secutores, the Samnite, and the Hoplomachus. The games were popular, and also like today's sports teams, they would pit the favorite gladiator of one town to the favorite gladiator of another town. This became a major issue during the riots in AD 59, where citizens of Pompeii and Nuceria erupted into a brawl at the Pompeian Amphitheatre, due to rivalry between them and probably unrest at the fighting. As the Roman historian Tacitus describes it, about the same time, a trifling beginning led to frightening bloodshed between the inhabitants of Nuceria and Pompeii. At a gladiatorial show exhibited by Lavinius Regulus, who had been, as I have related, expelled from the Senate, with the unruly spirit of the townsfolk, they began with abusive language of each other. Then they took up stones, and as last weapons, the advantage resting with the populace of Pompeii, where the show was being exhibited. And so there were brought to Rome a number of people of Nuceria, with their bodies mutilated by wounds, and many lamented the deaths of children or of parents. The emperor entrusted the trial of the case to the Senate, and the Senate to the consuls, and then again the matter being referred back to the senators. The inhabitants of Pompeii were forbidden to have any such public gathering for 10 years, and all associations they had formed in defiance of the laws were to fall. Lavinius and the others who had excited their disturbance were punished with exile. With that information in mind, the riots probably went like this. The amphitheatre at Pompeii is arguably the earliest known permanent stone amphitheatre in Italy. It was constructed in about 70 BC, and according to an inscription, it was by a certain Quincitus Valgus and Marcius Porcius, all at their own private expense. Like all amphitheatres, this amphitheatre was built to seat many people, and in this case, 20,000 people. And on that note, good night.
The internet is not a big truck. The internet is not something that you just dump something on. The internet is not a big truck. The internet is a series of tubes. The internet is not a big truck. The internet is not something that you just dump something on. The internet is not